Now let's continue with the backside. We learned that the square root of -1 is equal to I. So let's go and write that down on the left-hand side. The square root of -1 is equal to I. Now if I square both sides, that gives me -I is equal to I squared. And if I square once again, that gives me I to the 4th is equal to +1. So we're going to be using those definitions, these two. And let me rewrite them in order. So I squared is equal to -1, and I to the 4th, because I squared both sides, that gives me -1 times -1 is 1, I squared times I squared will give me I to the 4th. So I to the 4th is equal to +1. And I'm going to use those definitions to be able to simplify imaginary numbers. So I to the 9, I can use any of those two, I squares or I to the 4th. So how many I to the 4ths are in I9? 2. So I to the 4th times I to the 4th. How many more i's do I have left? Only 1. Now I know that I to the 4th is equal to 1, I to the 4th is equal to 1, and then we just have an I. So 1 times 1 times I will give me I. I to the 7th will be I to the 4th. I don't have another I to the 4th, and I don't want to write down I to the 3rd. I want to be able to write down the I squared, because I know that's -1. And how many i's do I have left? That's 6. I need 1 more. So I to the 4th is 1, I squared is -1, and then I just have the 1 in I. This gives me 1 times -1 is -1 times I will be -1I, or just -I. Let's continue with letter C. I to the 10, how many I to the 4th do I have? 2, 1, 2. What's left? I to the 2nd power. I know that I to the 4th is 1, I to the 4th is 1, I squared is -1. So it gives me 1 times -1. 1 times 1 is 1 times -1 is -1. Letter D. Same process. How many I to the 4th do I have in here? 1. What's left? 1I. So I have a total of 5. I to the 4th is 1. I is I. 1 times I will give me I. So if you start to notice, the I to the 4th doesn't take any effect, because anything multiplied by 1, it's itself. So those, and that. How many I to the 4th do I have in here? 4. How many are left? Just 1. I to the 17. How many I to the 17s are in there? 4 of them. What's left? 1, right? So that'll be my answer. Now, if you feel more comfortable rewriting all to the I to the 4th, so I to the 4th, I to the 4th, I to the 4th, and I to the 4th. Each one is 1. So 1 times 1 times 1 times 1. That gives me 1 times I will give me I. Now, letter F. How many I to the 4th are in here? 8. How many are left? 1. Right? 4 times 8 is 32, so I have 1 I left. And that'll be my answer. Go and try letter G, H, and I, and we can check our work. Go and pause it. Great. So for letter G, how many I to the 4th are here? 3. 3 times 4 is 12. How many are left? Just 1. But if you feel more comfortable just writing down the I to the 4th, making those 1s, either way will be fine. As long as you remember that in here you're not writing the I to the 4th because they are equal to 1. Now on letter H, how many I to the 4th are here? 5. How many are left? 2. right? 4 times 5 is 20. We have 2 left. I squared is equal to negative 1. And that's my answer. Letter H. How many I to the 4s are in here? 4. How many are left? 3. 4 times 4 is 16, plus 3 will give me 19. So I want to write it down not as I to the third, as I squared times I. I know that I squared is negative 1, and then we have an I. Negative 1 times I is negative. And be careful, don't write down I to the thirds. You can write down I to the fourths, I squares, and then if you have 1 left over, it's fine. Your answer, you know, it's going to be an I. Now, example number 5, last example. It says plot the following complex numbers in the same complex plane. So instead of x and y, this is going to be the real part, the real axis, and this is going to be the imaginary axis. And we have two components of a complex number. We have the real part and the imaginary part. The real part and imaginary part. So on the real part, we're going to have negative 1, imaginary positive 3, so I'm going to go up 3. And that'll be letter A. For letter B, 2 for the real part, so I'm going to go to the right 2 because it's positive. For the imaginary, it's negative 2, so I'll go down negative 2, and that'll be letter B. Letter C, we have negative 5 as the real part, so I'm going to go to the left negative 5 on the real axis, and then I'm going to go down negative 3 for the imaginary, and that'll be letter C. Very important to label your points. Letter D, there's no real part, so I must stay there. Imaginary is negative 5. Letter E, negative 4 is the real part. Imaginary is negative 2. And the last one is positive 2i. There's no real part, so it's just the imaginary number, which is letter F. So this will conclude this lesson. Please email me if you have any questions. Have a great day, and thank you so much.